There's all kinds of different ways to organize, plan, and strategize your YouTube videos and other creative projects. Today we're going to take a look at 3 tools that I really enjoy using them: Notion, Miro, and plain old paper. First, let's take a look at Notion. Notion is an organizational tool similar to kind of maybe how Evernote works, but much more powerful because it has relational databases, tables, all kinds of different embedding tools, and we'll take a look at some of those in just a second. Notion just became free for personal use this week, which is really awesome because I've been paying for it for the last 6 months and I've kind of organized my entire life in it, not just my YouTube content, but my personal kind of life stuff as well as my work. That being said, let's take a look at Notion, how I plan and strategize for this channel, for all the videos I've done and all the videos that I will do. So this is the main interface of Notion. You've got all your stuff here on the left side, all your different notebooks and pages. I've got all kinds of stuff in here, like I said, work, and life stuff. The main thing we're gonna be focusing on here is this page. This is my dashboard for the YouTube channel stuff. This is where I started and planned everything from the beginning back in December when I launched this channel. And this is where I kind of start everything when I'm going to work on any kind of YouTube related stuff. I kind of dump all of my notes here and kind of categorize it. I've got all the pillars to remind me what this channel is for, links to some specific stuff. The 30-day creator challenge is something that I'm working on right now. I got a link to that at the top, to the Miro board, which we'll take a look at right after we talk about Notion. Different notes here, growth questions. This is all pretty standard stuff, note-taking stuff. You can see I've kind of leveraged a little bit of the color coordination that Notion has built in. I've got bullets. I've got these collapsible kind of elements that you can kind of use to toggle and collapse notes. I use them a little bit more when I'm planning videos to organize each particular video, and we'll take a look at that in just a second. Like I said, everything here is like the dashboards, the overview of the channel, a lot of strategy stuff. But this section here, this is where I spend most of my time planning. This is the content calendar, the content schedule, and this is what's most powerful about Notion, is having these databases that you can have multiple different views with different metadatas and properties that you can sort by and filter by. Similar to something other tools like Trello or Airtable if you've used stuff like that, but I find it to be a little bit more intuitive and I like having it all in one place. So taking a look back over here at the sidebar, you can see everything that's nested under Genki Edits actually lives on this main page, and they're all kind of nested here, and these just become more convenient links. So if I click on content schedule, it takes me to a page that has just that content schedule, and this is really where I spend most of my time. Now, I have it filtered to show just the things that haven't been uploaded yet, but if I turn that filter off, you can see all the videos that I've done so far and that have been uploaded, and then the ones that I plan to do that have yet to be done. The way I have my content calendar organized is just, a name of the video. It's not the final title, and that's important because I do more research before I name the things. I have a level of effort kind of category, high, medium, low, and that's really just to help plan in the future as I'm kind of scheduling out when things need to be recorded, and I can figure out how much time I need to leave to edit something before it goes up. If you're familiar with the idea of having different types of videos within the niche of your channel, different pillars or different buckets, that's what I like to categorize here. I have them color-coded and I mark all the videos. That way I can kind of see at a high level glance what the diversification of the different types of videos that I'm uploading actually is. So, so far it's been mostly feedback videos, but as I kind of move out and to make more videos like this, we'll start to see videos that kind of fit that tutorial bucket and some things that touch that journey bucket. You have the ability to change your views and you have the ability to sort the table. That's very similar to other tools. But what I really enjoy about Notion, what I find very useful, is that each one of these entries is a link to a larger page, which is a document that I spend all the time in doing the writing, the outlining, and the researching for all the videos that I do. It's really conveniently nested inside, and it makes it really easy to go straight from the schedule to the planning. The way I like to outline these videos, especially for something like a feedback video, is I have like all these toggles that have different types of things that I'm working on. So we have things that I want to focus on. This is kind of more like an outline of the video. I'll have the specific outline, which is very much writing as I'm going to start to deliver to the camera. I have the questionnaires, and then I have the original critique. This is me kind of going through. It's basically, this is all the research that I've put into a video that kind of gets all dumped here, sorted out, and then what I can do from here is export this page, and if I'm using a teleprompter, for example, I can export it straight to a markdown file or clean it up into a text file, send it to my phone, send it to the teleprompter, and everything is kind of contained in that one ecosystem. It's pretty simple, but it's really well contained. And like I said, we have those different views. So if I come over to the sidebar, you can see that schedule list, which I spend most of my time looking at. But I also have the recording calendar view, which will show me a calendar view, and it'll take that recording date that's in that table and just list it on a calendar. You can see as I kind of scrub back, you may have noticed that I tried to kind of batch record and have multiple episodes recorded per week. But being able to have that same view and look at it different ways is really helpful. And if you're into Kanban and you like those cards views, you can add that, or you can add any kind of view that's built on any particular property that you put in that table. So if we wanted to create something like a board or a gallery view, which I'll show you in just a second, you can just really easily click on that. And then you have a Kanban board and you can sort things based on that. You can have all these different views. We've picked the one that works for you, but being able to have all that data in one place and being able to kind of have it represented in different ways is super helpful. For me, I like to keep everything in this scheduled list for the content calendar separate from any ideas that I come up with. If I have an idea for a video that I know I want to make, I'll drop it here at the very bottom and immediately go ahead and write the outline for it. So something like I just mentioned, we'll call it Notion to teleprompter workflow. Immediately go ahead and create an entry for that, give myself a synopsis. And then I try to tag it with the appropriate buckets and level of effort at least. And then I can go back and kind of massage the recording date, edit dates, publish dates, all that kind of stuff. For random ideas and things that I'm not quite sure I want to add to that list yet, I have a separate table for video concepts and a backlog in its own. These are kind of more high-level ideas that don't really have any concrete outline or execution yet, but something that I think might be a topic that I want to cover or something that I see an opportunity for. Again, it's a table, but this one is just very simple. There's no dates, recording, anything like that, just a section for notes and a brief name. If I want to though, again, because it's a table within Notion, I can go ahead and expand on that and create all the details within that name itself. And then I can either pull this into the schedule list, create a new entry, or just reference the one that I have here. I've made a blank template for this content calendar that you can find in the description below. If you just want to hit that link and go try it out in Notion, you can, or you can copy it into your own Notion notebook and start using it. Make modifications as you need. It's free for you to do what you like. These other items that I have here are more personal to me and how I like to organize it, but I'll go ahead and show you those anyways. The mood board is just a gallery view. It's a table where I've just kind of collected screenshots from different places and different test footages of setups of how I might want to shoot for this channel. The last thing, and this is something that I use for every video, and everyone has their own way of doing this, it's the editing guide or your checklist for editing a video. I've color-coded the different types of steps that I do for an edit. Got the organize, cut, refine, and finalize, and then some random notes for whatever video that I'm currently working on. And then I use this separator or this horizontal rule within Notion, and then as I'm editing, I kind of come back to this page and kind of just step through it and move that bar to see where I am in the edit to make sure that I'm getting everything done. I could toggle these check marks, I could use paper, but I like to have this kind of reusable thing that's really quick to just kind of move that bar around. So that's a lot of what I do in Notion, a lot of the planning and kind of operational things of the channel. But for more research and graphical representations of things that I like to do, the kind of things where you really want to like print stuff out and spread it all over your desk and circle and annotate things, that I use Miro for. And if we hop back over to the dashboard page under this 30-day creator challenge, there's a link to the Miro board that I'm using for that, and we can take a look at it. Just like anything, there's a whole bunch of different options for the tools that you use for something like this. If you're coming from Sketch, Illustrator, Figma, InVision, or any of those other tools for kind of graphic representation, those are all great. I find myself gravitating towards Miro mainly because of the fact that it prioritizes annotation. Anytime I'm doing research or a project like this 30-day creator challenge by Daryl Eves, it's really nice to be able to just throw screenshots of analytics and different types of research that I've done onto a page, draw arrows and circle things and highlight things, add sticky notes where I need to. It's really nice to be able to just visualize everything on this large board. That's kind of the type of thinker that I am. And this is where I feel like it has an advantage over just having a long tube of content like in Notion or any other note-taking app. A couple things worth noting that I find are very helpful, besides the fact that you can share this board with other people, collaborate, and add notes from other people. For something like this, where you're doing a lot of research, and that research includes video, not only can you just throw screenshots in like you would be able to anything else, but you can embed iframes, which means you can embed videos from YouTube and play them right inside the Miro board. I find that to be super helpful to be able to just drop those videos where everything else is, add notes, draw circles, draw arrows, and just be able to watch that video in line with all of your other research without having to go to another tab and get distracted. Another thing that's actually really cool between Notion and Miro is that you can embed Miro boards directly into Notion. So instead of just having a link to my Miro board here on the dashboard page for my channel, I can embed the whole Miro board right here into my Notion notebook. All you have to do is copy the link of your Miro board, create a Miro embed, and paste that link here inside Notion. And just like that, your whole Miro board is interactive and embedded right inside Notion. So you can just keep everything in one place. Both Miro and Notion have phone apps that are really usable and I like using a lot in combination with using it on my computer. But while digital tools are super helpful and accessible on your phone and anywhere, sometimes you just don't have internet access, or sometimes you just don't have the battery to get to your tools. And that's where I find paper to be really helpful and invaluable. Paper notes and paper notebooks might not be perfect for everyone, but I've been a long time fan of writing in notebooks. I've gone through tons of Leuchtturm notebooks, and within the last year I switched over to these traveler notebooks, mainly because the paper refills take up a lot less space and are a little bit cheaper. So if you're into bullet journaling or anything like that, you're probably familiar with different ways of organizing yourself on paper. I've moved everything over to Notion, so I don't really have to worry about that, but there's still times where I like to create daily to-do lists or certain tasks that need to be broken down into maybe 5 or 10 different smaller to-do items. And that's where I've kind of adopted this to-do list system that I got from Adam Savage's Every Tool's a Hammer book, and that is the check box that you can use in a few different ways. So typically you'd have a checkbox, but instead of just crossing items off when they're done, you have this system where when you're working on it, you can create a slash, and when it's halfway done, you color in the box halfway, and when it's completely done, you color in the box all the way. And I also like to use this to be able to kind of like draw arrows. That's an indicator of a task that didn't get done that day, that either needs to be moved to the next day or something that just needs to be moved to my digital list. But forget to-do lists, that's not really why I enjoy paper. I'm just the type of person who really likes to draw and sketch things out. So before I even go to a Miro board, and many times before I even get an idea into Notion, it first starts on paper with really rough sketches. So I plan out videos in different ways. I can either plan them out kind of like in columns. My favorite way to plan out videos is by using a story clock. And if we take a look at a story clock from one of the last Feedback Friday videos, you'll see that it kind of, it works in tandem with the outline that I have in Notion. This is just the way my brain works. I take that outline from Notion that I was kind of like thinking out on the computer. I break it down into different sections, different beats of the story, and I kind of plot out what that review is going to look like, different sections in the story clock. If you peek back at that content calendar, you'll see that I do have a video planned all about story clocks and how to use them on there, and I'll talk more deeply about that, but that's something that I really like to use paper for. Of course, nothing really beats paper for me when it comes to planning out thumbnails or other graphics. Sometimes the computer can just be so slow trying to select all the right tools and draw things out, and just sketching out really, really rough sketches on paper is a faster way to iterate and a faster way to get to your good ideas. Or put another way, a faster way to get rid of all your bad ideas before you invest all that time creating them on the computer. Sometimes it takes me 1 story circle, sometimes it takes me 3 story circles to come up with a good video, but that's pretty much the process there. While I love all the digital tools and while they're super helpful, nothing beats paper for me. I can just think much quicker, and even just having your notes written down in front of you while you're filming is super helpful without having to check your phone, without having to check the computer that you're screen recording on. But if you do want those Notion templates, I'll make sure to put a link down in the description below. I'll also try to share out this Miro board if you find that interesting or helpful. And if you want to see what all that planning turned into, and if you want to see what these story clocks for these feedback videos turned into, check that playlist for all the Feedback Friday videos that I've done so far. And if you're curious at any of those other videos that you took a look at on that content calendar, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you made it this far, hit that like button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.